In this video, I'm going to show you how to update existing contact records using forms. Now, your contacts will likely fill out more than one form at some point. Things like an order form, a survey, an event registration, and anything else you can think of. And this is a great way to get more information about your contacts. Ontraport automatically merges records when visitors fill out multiple forms using the same email address, but it creates a new record whenever there's a new email address. Getting a bunch of duplicate records in your account makes it impossible to track your contacts or know where your buyers are coming from, and it's easy to make mistakes with your follow-up when you've got more than one record for someone. So, it's important to get each form fill-out merged with the existing record whenever possible. I'm going to show you how to use Ontraport's different tools for the job. Alright, let's get started. There are two ways we can identify contacts in Ontraport. Both require using Ontraport forms, which have a bunch of fancy technology to help you identify your visitors. Let's dive into two scenarios where Ontraport merges your contacts. In scenario 1, you're sending people you already know to a form to get more information about them. Maybe you want their mailing address so you can send them something in the mail. Maybe you just want to better understand their problems so you can market to them more effectively. So you don't want to ask them for their email address again because that's weird. You already know who they are and what their email address is. And if they were to use a different one, they'd mess it up anyway. So don't ask. Ontraport has a feature called Perls, which stands for Personalized URLs, that helps you identify each contact from the link that you sent them to. So if a contact fills out a form on a Perl page, you'll know exactly who they are since that's their personal page. And Ontraport will add the new information to their existing record. Sending a contact to a Perl is super simple. In fact, any Ontraport page URL can be used as a Perl. If you're sending an email, all you have to do is use the Ontraport page dropdown when you create a link to your page here. And that's all there is to it. But you wouldn't want to do this on your main lead generation pages, because this strategy is really useful when you know only existing contacts are going to see your form. Just remember not to put an email address field onto the form, and we'll take care of it automatically from there. But what if you want your customers to update their email address? Let's tackle that in our second scenario. If you send customers to a page that asks them to update their email address, the previous method won't work. If you put an email address field on your form and visitors give you a new email address, even on a Perl, Ontraport will assume that it's a different person. Now there's another feature called Overwrite Email Address Merge with Cookie Data. If someone visits a Perl or they have an Ontraport tracking cookie on their browser, we'll know who that person is. You can check this box in advanced form settings and we'll update their email address instead of creating an entirely new record. Basically, what this setting is telling us is to not use the email address to identify a unique contact, and instead to look at the ID in the cookie to see who the person is and merge their new information with the existing record. One last note for the geeks out there. Ontraport will actually merge records using any unique field it finds on the form. Email address is just one example of a unique field. There's another one built into the system called Unique ID. You can also create your own unique field by simply checking the "This field is unique" box when you create a new custom field. One way to use a different unique field value to merge contacts is to put the value in the link you email customers using a merge field. For example, if your domain is myawesomesalespage.com, you can add a unique identifier that looks like this. This is called a URL variable. And when your email or SMS is sent, Ontraport will merge each contact's unique ID into the URL so it comes out like this. Once they land on the page, the contact's unique ID is up there in the browser bar. You need to get it into the form so when the visitor submits the form, the system can use that information to merge the form submission with their existing record. Ontraport Pages comes to the rescue here. Pages has a fancy feature that can automatically grab any URL variables in the page URL and merge them onto the page. It'll do this whenever it sees a merge field that matches the URL variable. So, for example, when someone visits an Ontraport page at this address, your page will perform a little magic. Wherever you have this unique ID merge field on your page, which just matches the variable name in the URL, in this case unique ID, it will pop 12345 in there for you. Why is this useful? It'll all come together with one last step. You know how to use unique fields to merge records, and you know how to get unique fields into the URL. So now you've got to do one more thing. You need to get your unique field into your form. You can do that using the Prefill feature on the form fields. You put the merge field that matches the URL variable into the prefill so that when the form is filled out, the records will merge. But we don't want our users to see this magic happening on their end. So you do this with hidden form fields instead. That way your visitor never sees it and can't mess with it. Go to the hidden fields on your form under Form Settings. Add Unique ID as a hidden field. Next, the URL variable name you used in your link as a merge field here, and in our example, I used unique ID, so that's what I'm going to put here. Now for the geeky among you, you're probably already imagining all the different ways that this feature is going to make your life easier. And if I've lost you, that's okay too. You probably just don't need this feature yet, but now you know where it is in case you need it down the road. Either way, you've got lots of tools in your tool belt to make sure you don't accidentally get a bunch of duplicate records in your database, and that's a good thing. Now that you know how to update your existing records, the future is a bright, clean CRM. And if you want to learn more about how to configure conditional redirects, that's what we're going to cover in our next video on conditional redirects.